you got to solve problems out on the trail. You don't realize that things can happen. You think nothing's going to happen, and it does. We get a 800 Polaris. We go for a ride. Take the family, kids, they're on their four-wheelers. We get about 20 miles away from camp and they run out of gas. So we're like, well, what do we do? So we leave them there. Me and my wife go back to camp, get gas, and on the way back, come around a corner and I put a rock through the sidewall of the side-by-side. And my wife's like, oh geez, brand new machine, what do we do? This ain't supposed to happen. I'm like, well, we're buying a tire and a wheel. I mean, we have no options. So we ride around, get everything handled, get the kids gassed up, and we go back to camp with a flat tire and a ruined rim now at that point. And kind of nerve-wracking because they're there, you're where you're at, and something goes wrong, you can't get to them. It's become a stressful situation sometimes. What can I do to prepare myself? So then you start buying everything. Tires, jacks of some sort, tools, tire patch kits, plugs, I mean. And then it goes even further into first aid kits, and I mean, it's just a lot of things go through your mind because you're a long ways away from safety and exposed to the elements.
The JackDaddy is a lightweight jack that allows you to make a repair on your machine and use the travel and suspension that we all enjoy as a leverage point to make your repair. So the more and more travel we enjoy on our machine, the more challenging a typical jack becomes. So the JackDaddy's advantage is it takes that suspension and shock and loads it back up as if the tire were still on it. And that increases the stability and eliminates the travel. And then with its mounting points, and the fact that it was designed for a UTV, you know where it mounts, you know where you're going to put it, it ties in, it pins in place. The JackDaddy today is lightweight. It's an easy trail fix. It's stable. It fits any machine. It fits aftermarket applications. It fixes tall, small. It's truly accomplishing what we set out for it to do.
You have mounting fixtures that attach to the machine, whether in the front lower shock bolts, you're replacing and putting a nub, a small fixture that stays attached to the machine at all times. Then the jack will attach to it. The rear, same if it's A-arms, if it's trailing arms, you've got a bracket that bolts in place on the trailing arm on the lower shock. And then they stay on the machine at all times. So if you're using a scissor jack, a bottle jack, a high lift jack, where you're raising from the center of the machine one side, you are completely unstable. Side hill, uphill, downhill, whatever scenario you're in, then you've got that momentum of dragging that machine that direction. Or the JackDaddy, where it's attached and fixed to the machine, you're only raising one tire. And it's only coming 4 inches off of the ground versus unloading the suspension. So you're not going to get that off-center weight distribution problem. Well, I would recommend a JackDaddy for anybody and a family member because I would like to see everybody return safely without missing digits or scratches, bruises, because of the complications of other types of jacks. I mean, this is specific for UTVs, not trying to make a car jack work for, an on-trail application.
With the JackDaddy, I think we've entered an area where we've eliminated a lot of the safety concerns that have been with a typical jack system, and it's definitely a much safer product to get a lot more repairs done. I think we've answered that question with it in its performance, and when it's compared side by side, they don't match. They're not the same. They're not the same concept. They're not the same stability. And it's just an unmatched jack. The jack was intended and built for a UTV, and it's been tested to work for the UTV, and it works for a UTV, and it's far more stable than anything out there.
Just to make a safer repair, that's all it boils down to. Well, we want to make not only a jack, but it functional like a Swiss Army knife, where you've got different attachments to make it a tool as well as a jack with the extra components, so that you don't have to carry a toolbox with 900 different things in it to make essentially the same repair, you know.
With the JackDaddy, we've already come out with our tie-down points, our breaker bar attachment, and we have other products that will be out real soon. And basically, while you're making plans to go out, we're making plans you get back.